Welcome back to the channel. All right, it's time for the next class in the December 2024 Top 10 series from myself and the MCoC Illuminati. Hopefully you're familiar with the format by now, but if you're not, we're going to jump to a quick explainer of the format out of this. The whole idea is for you to see all the different minds and experiences that go into creating that general tier list each and every single month, and also that there are so many different ways to be incredibly successful in this game. And that's why so many different people like so many different champions. And then we put that together for you each and every single month in the general tier list. And then before you head on, there's timestamps in the description so you can jump around. You'll see my rankings too. Of course, make sure you enter the drawing to win the free 6-star relic that I will be giving away. I have changed that deadline to December 30th, which is why the intro to all these videos is now the same. That's the day of the release of the general tier list in December from myself and the Illuminati. Make sure you comment on all these videos, you make me laugh, you show you watch the video, and you provide some constructive criticism on ways I can make my videos and these videos better so we can all have just even more fun and learn even more things as we head into 2025. Pay attention to YouTube comments because that's how I will be contacting you. All right, let's get into this. All right, now here's going to be the format for every single one of these class top 10s as we go through December 2024. You can see on the right-hand side, we broke the game down into 4 different categories. The way we are looking at the game, what we think about when we're making our rank ups, and when we get together and do the monthly tier list, right? It's what helps prevent the tier list from being too biased towards one person's experience for the modes they enjoy and those sorts of things. Broken down between battlegrounds, fun, alliance, war, and content. Fun is like, who do you enjoy playing, all right? And there's gonna be the personal and the recommended. For mine, I'm gonna always be going through the recommended. We're gonna look at the Illuminati's, and then I will show you my recommended. And then at the very end, we will definitely take a look at my personal too. So you can see how that is different based on what I personally enjoy and what I think would be great for someone who's playing the game in a similar way to me. All right, let's take a look at what the Illuminati has for us. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the various Illuminati spreadsheets, rankings that they have submitted here. We've got Egatron. Hopefully you're getting pretty familiar with who they are. And you know, like if they agree with you, you know, they're the reason why the tier list, the general tier list always looks so good. We've got Egatron with the focus on BGs and Alliance War, and it's really making sense. We still got the Hulkling, Cosmic Ghost Rider. I think this is one of the things with Cosmic. The broken champions are in the 6-star. They're locked there. You even see Hercules not really make as big a dent in high-tier battlegrounds these days, but it looks like maybe still in Alliance War. Corvus, definitely an Alliance War champion. Curious how much we're going to see him showing up. And then you can see Egatron is already aware and realizes Scream is a fantastic, phenomenal champion. Really pumped up to pull Scream myself. And then kind of fun to see Terrax there. Remember, Terrax is a good champion, dual immune, all those armor breaks, damage can get up very high. All right, let's go and move on to the next one. Interesting again, as MCoC Encyclopedia really focused on content, but yet still in the Alliance, salty that won Tier 1 war this year. So you can see, for me, I feel like I can see the combination of that. You can see Superior Iron Man incredibly high. So there's another fan, not just me, in the MCoC Illuminati of Superior Iron Man. So that's really cool to see. Again, Corvus Glaive, definitely a war. I can see content, but as health pools are growing and at content, it's going to be harder and harder to not only ramp your Corvus, but even once you get to ramp or 2, unless you've got them at rank 3, running recoil, I'm not so sure. See Null on there, a fantastic champion. And then really cool for me to see Angela. I know there's a lot of big fans out there. Old Man Easy, shout out to you. And then King Groot, just really tough to kill. And then Beta Ray Bill, right? We haven't seen a ton out of Bill. Some of the big long form stuff is pretty eye popping and important. He's got that pulverized mechanic, which I do think is going to become more and more something that we're asked to do with some defenders, things like that as we go through 2025. So it'll be interesting to see how that continues to play out. I feel like these first three cards could not do a better job of showing you how different top players, really smart players, are going to rank champions. This is part of what we wanted to show you, is like how successful you can be with this game. You know, when we do the general tier list, I'm always saying champions in tier 3, tier 4, those are good champions. That's why we don't rank every single champion. I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste visual space with these champions that don't deserve your resources unless you just absolutely love them for some reason, because champions in tier 3 and tier 4 can still get work done. Look at this. We don't have Terrax. I think it's in our 3rd or 4th tier, but here he is right here in Jaeger's list. Been honorable mention another one, number 10. Makes sense to me. It really does. You can do a lot of great things with him, and not a bad defender in Battlegrounds as well. You're seeing Serpent placed very, very high. I think Battlegrounds is definitely a big part of why that's coming in. We will talk about Serpent a little bit more later. And then again, I love Superior Iron Man, so seeing him there always makes me feel good. TJ here, a very, very, very competitive, high-tier Celestial Battlegrounds player, but focus on war and rank ups and those sorts of things. We see the first, I think, presence of Maestro. You're going to see Maestro on my list for sure. Serpent is in there. But then again, those 6 stars, those broken 6 stars doing so much damage. Both have immunities. Cosmic Ghost Rider has dual immunities. They're fantastic. Null is also in there. And then Old Man Odin. Really cool for me to see Old Man Odin. I really enjoy seeing that. That big SB2 can do some work. And then Nova. Nova is present. You're going to see Nova on my list for sure. You can really see the priorities of William coming through here. The big war 3, right? Those broken 6-star champions, Hercules, Cosmic Ghost Rider, Hulkling. Hurts me to add Hulkling to that group, but Null, fantastic in war and in Battleground, Superior Iron Man, Serpent, Maestro. This whole group makes complete sense. I love seeing Vox. You're going to hear me talk quite a bit about Vox. I think 2025 might be the year Vox starts to pop off a bit more. We'll find out. Hopefully you've had a chance to check out Campo's videos on this. They've been phenomenal. I know I've learned a lot from them. I've really enjoyed that. You can see a former extremely high tier war player. I played an SSX with him. Now kind of taking a bit more chill as far as the competitive scene is considered, but ranking it for fun, content, putting out some phenomenal videos. This guy knows what he's talking about with Medusa. Hopefully you've seen my video on Medusa. You're going to see videos on Medusa. She's bonkers. She's nuts. She's awesome. Definitely seen the respect for Scream there. Seen the presence of Gladiator. You know what? Yeah, we'll talk about Gladiator now because I don't think Gladiator is really going to come up on my list. He's on my personal list in the honorable mention. For me, it makes perfect sense to see Gladiator here, right? Gladiator can do great things. I think you've seen him in a couple other of the lists too, and he can be great in war. I think it's like the Path 3 at a high sig, keeping armor ups off. I know Egatron's often talked about like with a advanced power boost and those sorts of things, but we're starting to get pretty high maintenance for a champion there. Additionally, with this whole mechanic of hitting into the block, I know like OIC, a lot of really smart players, Karate Mike, he's pretty good at the game, have shown the immense power of Gladiator. Even I showed it in the new champion video, but I remember calling it out in that video. Look, some AI stuff, especially for me in competitive modes, might make me not want to play him. And that's literally what's happened. However, I will say, as some things with the AI have continued to be improved, massaged, that sort of thing, and also as I've gotten used to Gladiator, I'm becoming more and more of a fan. And we've got Sentinel coming out as a tough defender. Arcade, I don't think the buff is to make his defensive prowess worse. I'm very much curious to see if Gladiator, along with Vox, gets some bump up in just like general reputation prestige as 2025 goes on. All right, let's move on to our final one in BMCG. All right, leave it to no one else besides BMCG, a phenomenal player, obviously an absolute stud there in 4 Loki, great content creator. I'm sure you're familiar with this channel. If you're not, go get familiar. Got Silver Surfer. He's one of those people that always is like, no, Vega, Silver Surfer's really good. I was like, no, he's not. But I know you just did a cool thing with him. That's because you're very good. Silver Surfer's fine. Silver Surfer's fine. And B would not gaslight us there. But again, these are personal rankings. You want to go see his recommended rankings, a player as smart as Campo and a player as smart as BMG. You're going to have to go watch their videos. You're going to have to go watch their videos. Has a tremendously high rating for Beta Ray Bill. That's got to be by far the highest we've seen it. I think it was Simula. Has done some outrageous eye-popping stuff in long-form content. And then look how high BMCG has Vox. I like that. I like that a lot. Okay, here we are. Cosmic has really had a nice growth in the last like 1 to 2 years, right? We're still in a situation where a lot of your like broken champions are locked to 6 stars. And I've been talking to you at length. That's been a big theme of this December is not that 6 stars are dead, right? They can still do tons. And you just saw the Illuminati and like how many, especially in Cosmic, how many of the 6 stars are still like 1, 2, and 3, 1, 2, 4 in their rankings. But the way I'm approaching the game, if I'm giving advice to you and you're coming to me and you're asking me, should I be ranking this 6 star that's like pretty much broken? Let's go with Hercules, or the 7 star, who I think is like a very, very good champion. I'm genuinely paused and strongly leaning to the 7-star because you're going to get to use them so much longer. Campo keeps using the term the 6-star tax, and I think it's perfect, right? We're seeing that in questing. 7-stars get a bonus. And in any questing nowadays, you're fighting a 7-star. 7-star's got that challenge rating, and they're like hitting into you harder and harder and harder. Whereas your 7-star is going to hold up. And the fact of the matter is yeah, some of these champions are broken on the 6-star lock, but a lot of these cosmics are great. And so maybe they're only doing like 90% of what that 6-star is doing if the 7-star was a 6-star. But now that they're a 7-star and you can take them to rank 3, they're producing. All right, let's go ahead and jump into this. We've got my honorable mention. Words are hard. I'm recording like my 5th video today, so I want to get these out. I'm going on vacation, but I want to get these out for you. They're so fun. So honorable mentions, we got Hyperion and then Vox. I want to talk about Vox for just a minute here. Now, I've said this before on this channel, and that I thought Vox was about to become a star. The fact of the matter is that Arcade did not land as tough of a defender as I think Kabam was hoping. Remember, we hit them with all that feedback late last year about like, hey, this is too much. These defenders are too much, too hard, too frequent. You got to slow this cadence down. Well, I think they had to make a shift with Arcade, but lo and behold, he's back. They have the rebalance period for a reason, okay? And I think we're going to really need this undermine. I can't understand why Kabam would keep putting it in the game and then not have it be something really powerful, defenders asking for it, right? And I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean like it seems powerful. There's got to be a reason for it, and it can't just be Penny Parker. So we've got this here with Vox. You can see also these immunities to poison, power burn, power drain, power lock, special lock. A lot of these ones that are, and they call this out, the designer called this out, that are often like the tech ones, right? Which makes sense. Vox being a cosmic. I really like all of that. You know, I've done videos on Vox. You know, I'm a big fan. The degen damage can become immense. Good chance you just got 7-star Vox for free, which is awesome. I know I just picked mine up when I logged in to record this video. I am a big fan. And depending on how 2025 goes, I think there is a very good chance that Vox is firmly in not only my personal top 10, but in my recommended top 10 as soon as June, and possibly, or hopefully in December. I think something pretty wild would have to happen, like a new ask out of text, and then maybe some more OP cosmics coming in. The other thing I do want to shout out, just because he's tagged this, is Deathless Thanos is an absolute beast. He's just an absolute beast. He just, for my purposes, a little too late to fit into this, but I feel very confident that he would be well within the top 10. So we already know that is coming. And then the last one I'll talk about, and this is my recommended list. It felt good. You could hear it in my voice, I'm sure, when I was going over the Illuminatis and seeing how many of them had Superior Iron Man, because I think he's kind of bonkers. It's going to be a weird edit. I know it will be. I got interrupted there. Superior Iron Man, he's bonkers, right? And I want to show you the signature ability because this ties in so well to his kit. Like the flow on this champion, meaning like the way he's built, what you're wanting to do, how easily disrupted is he by an AI or a node or something like that. And he's got these great armor breaks. You get all these independent or unique buffs on you. You get those going, and if your SB2 crits, like they're just dead. And the cool thing is even if your SB2 doesn't crit, you build back to your second one, which happens pretty darn fast. And even if that doesn't crit, your opponent's probably dead. By the time you've gotten to those two, your opponent's probably dead. He's also got the awesome auto block that you can utilize for your own offensive capabilities, right? To create openings. But it's just right here because he's got these he reduces the potency of incoming bleed, incinerate, and shock effect by 50%. This is further increased by 50% for each unique superior buff. Well, we just talked about he's getting a ton of those. So that's going to happen easy just by playing him, okay? A couple mediums, that sort of thing, you're good to go. But if you get him awakened, whenever Tony's inflicted with the bleed, incinerate, or shock effect, pauses personal buffs for, 0.6, I trust me, I get it. That's not a ton. But if that's a hazard shift lane, or if that's a fight you're taking where those are applying to you, you're already resistant to them. And so you're already taking those fights. And now it's going to make it that much easier. I absolutely love that sort of stuff. For me, it's like the fights you're taking the Overseer in, where he's getting his gamma charge for that. I love this sort of mechanic. And Superior Iron Man would be great without it. But man, it's even better with it. Okay, so we've talked about Hyperion, Vox, and Superior Iron Man. It's time to do the number 10 Cosmic Champion. And I gotta say, I just was able to fully play her, literally timeline-wise, last night. I know these videos are gonna come out. It's gonna appear significantly far apart, or at least like a week or two as I look at it, I think. But it was literally last night. She's amazing. She is definitely my most wanted of these glorious guardians or gifted guardians. I don't know. They're guarding things. She's bonkers. She's fantastic. I do want her awakened. I get her awakened. She's going immediately to rank 3. She's a perfect fusion of absolute fun and absolute domination. Very similar to what I just talked about with Superior Iron Man. She's designed to go and just destroy champions that can be armor block. She just is. I showed you against rank 3s. All these are rank 3s. Penny Parker, Iron Man Infinity War, Onslaught, Killmonger. We even got to the point where I was for kicks and giggles. I took Photon. Now, just keep in mind, and just full transparency, that's on the CCP map. So they're rank 3 champions. They have the Battlegrounds nodes added onto them. But what they don't have is masteries, right? Like, it's not inequity, but it's the mastery everyone despair. No, it's not even despair. Again, 5th video today. It's the mastery that everyone's spec'd into in Battlegrounds and PvP that will reduce your attack rating for all the debuffs on you. So my attack rating wasn't reduced in that video, but the fact of the matter is we're often doing questing content, and you might run into a Photon there. And if for some reason you need to have a champion with buffs, Medusa's great for it. Medusa's great. And you get her awakened. She's even getting a true accuracy buff. Absolutely love her. She is a menace. She's a menace. She's awesome. And I think she's even going to be a dual threat, right? Remember, my priorities are Battlegrounds and fun. And ranking up for that, I've never once run into a war fight or like an EOP or a questing fight where I thought, man, if only I'd ranked up that champion. The stress testing that happens in Battlegrounds, and then combine that with fun, because no one likes bad champions. No one's going to be like, I find this crappy champion fun. I mean, every once in a while, there's some weirdo who does that. But in general, that's not you. And that means those champions are going to be good, and they're going to help you clear a lot of content. So I could see Medusa moving up. Probably replacing some of the stick stars. Are going to be a little bit higher up there than her. The next champion we're going to talk about very quickly is Scream. We're going to be a little quick on here because I did test her. I did the CCP video. Yeah, I did do the CCP video. I really loved her. I talked to you at length about the immense damage capabilities. Additionally, in her signature ability, it's this last bullet point that I'm the most interested in because I think it adds some strong utility here. We've been talking about this, right? Like, what's coming with tech defenders? What's going to be asked for a lot in Cosmics in 2025? Arcade, champions like that, Sentinel. Against tech champions, each stack of madness reduces the opponent's armor up ability accuracy by anywhere from 12.5 to 25.06. Well, she gets madness pretty darn good, okay? And then you're going to use her auto block mechanic. You actually use it offensively. It happens insanely fast. I tried to show it. Allison Edits has done a great job of showing it. I know that people have recently pulled her from the Titan. She's one of my most wanted pulls. So I'm sure we're going to start seeing more and more videos of people utilizing that. And the damage is immense. The damage is immense. She's really, really cool. Such a great design. Absolutely love her. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the number 8 champion. And it's really weird because this is such... Noel came in with such fanfare, right? It's just such an amazing character from the comics. They did a hell of a job with him in Venom 3, right? Jesus, that was terrible. Anyways, moving on. There's so much utility packed into him. There's such a great design. I remember when Noel came into the game, I took him to the highest sig I could get. Absolutely loved him. He's like one of those interesting champions, though, where I think you either like love Noel and you want to play him, and you show him and you make him look like literally possibly the best Cosmic in the game, because that's possible. And the things he does are asked for. What's interesting is I feel like he's often rarely the single best champion for any of these things. You see like his degen resistance and bleeding poison are all like from 40 to 60%, which is great. Don't get me wrong. I'm not complaining. It's just one of those where you're like, well, it's not 90 and he's not really immune. So I'm not really taking degen stuff, but that's cool. He can heal. He can handle evade and auto block, but you're limited to only your mediums. If you get him at a high enough sig, you're able to get into your ramp very, very fast. He can handle, he can reduce the opponent's combat power rate when he gets into his corruption mode. The SP2 will do massive, massive damage. I know it's sounding like I didn't like him, and then I list all the things. You're like, how do you like him? I love him. He's number 8 on my list. But the reason why I don't have him higher, despite all these things I'm saying, all these superlatives, and I'm listing the abilities, is I found I haven't wanted to rank 3 him. I haven't wanted to do it. He's a good dual threat in Battlegrounds, right? Inequity. That's the name of the mastery. You spec into an Inequity, and he's massive reducing the attack rating of your opponent. Plus, if they let the special one go off and they don't throw their special at the right time, they're now going to have to suffer reverse controls. He's an absolute menace. He can remove armor ups with his medium attacks, if I remember correctly, as well, too. So we want to see how that plays out with these champions where they're armor break immune and things like that. But then he really does want to armor break to do a lot of his damage. He's a really great champion. I love him. I don't really see him moving down, but I also couldn't tell you. I think I see him moving up. It almost feels like he was like a bridge from the Hulkling, Cosmic Ghost Rider, Hercules days to what I think we have coming up with champions like Superior and Iron Man, Scream, Medusa, and so on and so forth. Vox. All right, let's go ahead and talk about the number 7 champion. This number 7 champion is the first one that I feel like a person could very much reasonably right now with time, right? I could see someone saying Scream. I could, just because she's that eye-popping. Medusa too, honestly. But moving on, is time has given us enough reasons to look at Venom and just be like, this is bonkers. I can't even fully explain it because it's just this massive, massive, massive bleed damage tied in with the relic. When we do the relic tier list, we've broken them down by their tiers, but then we've also added in some are literally transformative. If you've got a high tier, like 5, 6, maybe even the 4, but I think the 5 or the 6 star is really what you're shooting for. And you can see these bleed vulnerabilities. You can see how the like max 6 buffs increase the potency of future bleeds by 7.75. Then you look at these rune slots for each unique buff on the champion. The only one who has unique buffs and also bleeds. Hits landed against a bleeding opponent, gain critical damage rating, and a flat, very rare in this game, a flat 4.62 crit rating, max 6 buffs. You read that right. So when you're seeing Venom, this is one of those champions. He's very good, don't get me wrong, but the relic transformed him. I could honestly say, if someone said they think he's the number 1 cosmic in the game, I would definitely say I disagree with you, as evidenced by this list. But I don't think you're talking crazy, and I don't think you're overexcited about a brand new champion you pulled and maybe making a mistake. He's bonkers. He's absolutely bonkers. All right, let's go ahead and move on to number 6. Remember that my priorities are battlegrounds and fun, okay? And you've had to have been following this channel for a while. We're on the 7 stars. We're going to move to the 6 stars now. This was one of the first champions I got to test in CCP. I remember I was headed on a long summer vacation, and within like seconds, I was like, I need this guy. I literally need him. Got him, took him to the highest rank I possibly could, taking out fights in for Loki. Penny Parker was a problem. I had previously been taking out Penny Parker with Spider-Man 2099, where you could literally only hit her block. It was a little nerve-wracking, but it was a lot of fun when you could get it done right. He's got this Pierce buff, which adds a lot of armor penetration. I didn't realize how great that was going to be into increasing his damage. I know I was early on saying I actually really liked his SIG because those Furies and capitalizing on when those Furies come in, you hit into the block, you throw your SB2, you get these massive Furies, you're still kind of unblockable, and you do outrageous, insane damage. He also has like a power gain mechanic. I think every time he gets one of his buffs, he's just an absolute beast. I hate to say it, I always try to break down the line between champions being broken and OP. I think of OP as being a good thing and broken as being like, I can see that why they, maybe won't release this champion as a 7 star. As time goes on, he's still OP. He's my Teddy. He's my Hulkling. For those of you like, Teddy, that's his name. That's his, well, it's not his real life name. He's a made up character, but you get my point. It's his non-superhero name. He's great. He's fantastic. I absolutely adore him. And it's hard for me because I just loved him so much, and he was like a bit of a signature champion for a while, and I can tell that it's definitely sunsetted, and we don't have a lot of time left. It's only because he's so incredibly strong as a character that you saw him listed as much as you did in all the Illuminati tier lists. And if you've been keeping up with me, you know that having him a lot of 6 stars is very rare, but it's really indicative of what's going on in Cosmic right now. All right, let's go ahead and move on to 5. Again, remember, battlegrounds and fun. And I'm actually just going to say this now. Hercules is not on my list. In generic advice, yeah, and you're coming up in this game, sure, rank your Herc. I'm not saying not to rank your Hercules. If you're coming up and trying to do like Act 6 or something, go for it. But if you're shooting for battlegrounds and for fun and all this stuff, and you've got these 7 stars, they're going to see you longer, okay? So I'll just, weird place to put that, but that's where I'm putting it. All right, we're on to number 5. And at number 5, we have none other than Cosmic Ghost Rider. He's bonkers. He's broken. I've recently done, in the last like 3 or 4 months, video saying like, I think he's now actually the best Cosmic champion, particularly for Battlegrounds, at least on offensive side. Could take Bullseye, could take Onslaught, could take Photon, right? These are like the massive, dangerous meta defenders that Kabam's been putting into the game. The armor breaks are ridiculous. He can just shoot up to 2 bars of power. He even has dual immunity, so he's good in war. He's just a bonkers champion. We're never seeing him as a 7-star. Like, I think we see him at the same time we see Hercules. It'll be in the like never gonna happen crystal or something. I don't even know. He's just outrageous. Was meaningful to me because 1, I had a lot of fun with him, but 2, I pulled him early and he was one of the big champions that helped kickstart my channel, right? Like, people love watching Cosmic Ghost Rider videos. It's like tempting to just make a bunch of them. When I did ones recently, they did very well. But you know, he's great. He's awesome. And if you got him, he's one of the 6 stars. I still recommend ranking up. Yeah, have fun with him while you still got him. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and move on to number 4. As far as playability and the most feeling broken that you get from playing like CGR, it's Adam Warlock. I know that this guy had a really interesting introduction to the game. I think we all saw like, wait, you can just go unblockable and stay unblockable. What's the catch? And then things go bad, you just go into like your womb and all things get better. And if you're awakened, I think you even heal up and stuff. Like, what is going on? You can get like some immunities and things like that going on. It's pretty wild. As you can see, like, you gain an unblockable buff, you gain a true damage buff, you gain a precision buff. And then if you get the precision buff, you can stun, and there's the sovereignty counter. And then we start thinking like, oh shoot, no, you know what? You know, he needs his the debuff to stick, the intimidate, right? And then we were like, no, you're okay. And it kind of tied in also with the AI, and the AI really starting to do bonker stuff. I flubbed up so many of the terms in it, but I did show the AI doing some like nasty things. Command continues to work on it. And I think the other thing that has happened is I know even players like me have started playing him more. We've pulled him, we wanted to play him, we took him to rank 3. We're enjoying him. And the fights that he can take, it feels like he shouldn't even be able to. In Battlegrounds, it's not unusual for someone to place the defenders like pretty good, and then I'll pull off Adam, and if I play the fight when it goes well, I end up with an absurd result and just win. Bitter Steel did a video showing like, I don't remember how many of the meta defenders that Adam Warlock can actually take. He's good for questing, he's good for war. He might be considered a little bit dangerous to play for war if you're concerned about the dying and stuff like that, but like, you can see he can gain immunity to nullify, stagger, fate seal. Like, he's just truly a crazy champion. If you've got him, I suggest giving him a second shot. I think he's much easier to play. One of the best advices was from Bitter Steel on like kind of manipulating the AI and also developing a little bit of patience. I often like would dash back and then I'd want to dash straight in right away, thinking I was going to lose my counter or my unblockable if I didn't. And the fact of the matter is, you actually have a little bit more time than you think. You can go in, you can sit there and you can wait, and you have a second there. Well, not a full second, but to see, is the defender going to block? Are they going to dash in? Am I going to be okay? And you even have his pod, his stasis pod, where if you get very quick, you can double tap block, and you can get yourself out of trouble very easily that way. He's pretty bonkers. I realize he's not for everyone, but he's pretty bonkers. All right, now Cosmic is also one of those classes. It's similar to Skill in this way, in that there's some big bad defenders in this class, and we're going to go none other to number 3. Remember, my rankings are with the priorities of Battlegrounds and fun. I will tell you right now, the Mysterio or Maestro might be a much better attacker than you realize. Some of you are like, no, I know he's good, and he's got like some great synergies with like the Overseer and things like that. You can see all these various immunities, like a lot of things that make him a tough fight to go against, make him actually pretty good. Now, he doesn't ramp up quick, so you're probably not using him to win Battlegrounds matches, although I'm curious once we get him awakened, if that shifts a little bit. You can see each Neutronium also grants Maestro block penetration, and then the bigger one, Activating Special, grants an additional 3 Neutronium, as well as Refreshal Personal Fury attacks. I don't think he's going to become a Battleground nuke, don't get me wrong, but you might find yourself kind of like I talk about like a Tuma, where every once in a while I'll flip a Tuma around for certain matchups. I think there's a chance it happens. Okay, I'm not predicting it happens. I'm saying it won't shock me if it does. But also, like, I've seen Big McG use him in Tier 1 War with 4 Loki, right? Players, you enjoy using him. He's incredibly safe. He's tanky. He's got the glancing, big health pool as well. And then, of course, he's just a very, very good defender. There are some natural counter shots where it, like, shuts this guy down like it's nothing. Kusala's not bad, but that's why it can sometimes take a little while. So he's a good defender as well. I do plan on taking mine to rank 3, and I'm very cautiously excited about awakening him through the Karina's challenge and things like that. I'm just a little worried about what we're going to have to do to get it, because I have a feeling Kabam's cooked up something pretty intense there. Very much like him. I think he's well worthy if you enjoy Battlegrounds for to rank him up. And I think he's someone not going to be quite to the level as the #1 champion, but he's a champion where you might find yourself thinking like, you know what, he could take that fight. He's pretty fun. I'm going to use him. He's a pretty tanky boy. And you have a good time. And I think his defensive prowess is that good. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the #2 champion. This guy is absolutely rocketing up the rankings. Yes, that pun was intended. This was a champion that just had no place. He had no place. And then Battlegrounds came out. And all of a sudden, his design feels incredible. This whole like dashing back and forth to build your power. It was like kind of a nuisance when he was a defender, and he's a great dual threat. If they don't have someone nullifying or things like that, he can be a real problem. America Chavez is obviously good for him too, but still, that's how Battlegrounds is. It's a strategy of putting all these things together. But if you get him awakened and you get this SIG going, Nova's medium attacks gain up to a tremendous attack bonus. Look at that. 9,512. 9,512. That is a significant number of attack, and it's based on the distance traveled. Additionally, his medium attacks don't make contact. You never know what was in the mind of the designer way back when Nova came out, but in a game that now has a mode where you're facing champions who have like damage back mechanics, or you're just looking to gain power as you fly around the screen, you want to hit into them, create space on the map. Like, the mode and the way the game has evolved have made the exact same champion significantly more valuable. He's always had the ability to do the big damage, but it was like the practicality and the nodes and what you were being asked to do. He even off of his SP1 has the true strike, okay? So some incredibly talented players use him to take out Bullseye. He's a really, really good champion. There was a reason why I went back in and opened up the Titan, even though I knew there were some great champions coming down the line, is because the Titan was my best chance to awaken my Nova. It's something that I hope to do very soon, because you will see me be incredibly, incredibly excited, and he will be an option for my 6-stone, so I can get that that signature ability going. I'm sure he'd be fine in questing War. You might not be using him, but in Battlegrounds, and just absolute fun to dash around the screen, causing damage with your mediums. This guy's got it. All right, and now for the #1 champion, and I would recommend this the way Cosmic is right now. Unless you're like, dude, I just don't like questing with him, and I only want Battlegrounds nukes, you got to go with Serpent. I mean, he really is a great champion. He's a brutal fight. He's a jerk. We have a lot of Mystic options for him now, though, like a lot, to the point where, like, even if I pull Spiral, I'm not sure I'll rank her up right away because I have so many that I already enjoy playing. He's got this death immunity, so don't get me wrong. That's part of it. When you're using him on offense, that's really nice to have that in your back pocket should things go wrong. First bullet point, each Cold Force charge grants up to 203 attack rating, scaling with how close the opponent is to the wall. You want to get them into the wall. If they've got armor up buffs, you throw the special 2. If they don't, you throw the special 1. Ideally, you're block breaking them, much like you do with Massacre. I still like to do it before my combo Indian medium, a little pause after the light, they block, you throw it in. You see he's even got like some of these immunities, immunity to power lock, special lock, heal block, fate seal effects, and prevents his ability power rate from being reduced below 50% by non-mystic champions. We're all familiar with this stuff because we fought him before. He gets a power gain. If you're patient enough, that kicks in early and you start doing that. He's really, really great. He ramps up. A lot of us are finding this. If you didn't already know it, I've shown it before, but other people, a lot of the community is becoming aware of this due to these Karina's challenges. Yeah, he's great. He really is. And he, for me, is the #1 Cosmic. And because of that, I could see him falling down maybe, but it's going to take something really special think, to knock him off the cliff. And his defensive prowess in Battlegrounds would have to go down significantly. And one of these other champions, you know, like Scream is a pretty eye-popping. We've got those 6-star lock champions. I don't think they're coming out anytime soon. I don't see Vox taking this crown. I don't see Superior Iron Man. So out of Morlock, I think we've kind of reached the pinnacle of it. I think Nova, if Battlegrounds isn't your thing, probably isn't that high up on your list. So maybe some new Cosmic Champs will come around the way. But until then, it's Serpent. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at my personal bias list before we close out the video. Okay, there's my full-on personal, like the way I rank champions, the way I rank them up, the way I've looked at them, that sort of thing. If I had Nova, he'd be at rank 3. Adam Warlock is rank 3. Superior Iron Man is rank 3. Serpent is rank 3. Hulkling and Cosmic Ghost Rider are rank 5 Ascended. And I will be looking very soon to take my Maestro up. Like I said in the video, I hope to awaken him soon. If I could pull Scream. And then Medusa and Vox and Gladiator. I actually like Gladiator. It's just something that always holds me back. But I do get it. I do see it. In Medusa and Vox, I want to play. I want to see Arcade's buff and kind of give that some time. If I feel like I need Vox, I will definitely rank Vox. I think Vox is great. And then if I pull Medusa, oh boy, we're going to have some fun. We're going to have some absolute fun. Her and Scream just stuff up. That's it. Those are the top 10s for Cosmic. I hope you're really enjoying the series. Remember, the playlist is linked in the description with mine and all the Illuminati's videos. And then, of course, we will be ending this with the top 30 overall, and then the big Illuminati, all of us together, multiple days, actually, on this one, going over the tier list after we've stress tested it for ourselves, forcing us to make our own top 10s with 3 honorable mentions. Yeah. Let me know what you think we got right. Let me know what you think we got wrong. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.